15 minutes late. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Okay, so hello, Kaya. So, by the way, this drink that I'm drinking right now is, I take a pound of ginger root, like fresh, and I grind it, with, distilled water. And then and what I do is I filter that. I keep extracting from the blending with the water, put that to the side, and then I take everything that I blended, and I put it in a pot with distilled water, and on low heat until it starts to boil and foam over. Then I take that water, filter it out, squeeze it, and I put it into a gallon with what I originally extracted without heat. And then I add apple cider vinegar, and then I add cold pressed lemon juice. This shit is amazing. I drink it like 4 times a day. This is like the gut shots, like the ginger gut shots. But I figured I like the taste, I like how it feels. So instead of paying $6-7 for a little shot, I just make a gallon of it every week. But it's amazing. It is spicy. It's spicy. It's very spicy. But it's really fucking good. It regulates your blood sugar. It's just really fucking good. So I've been enjoying drinking it every fucking day for the last few months, and it's amazing. Anyway, it's sour. It's spicy. All right. So, and so in the last few weeks, what we've been touching on is the subconscious, right, or the unconscious parts of our reality. So our subconscious, or we are unconscious of our subconscious, right? Which means that our subconscious is unconscious, right? And what we want to do is make our unconscious subconscious, and then bring conscious light to our subconscious, or extract from our subconscious reality into our conscious reality. So we want to consciously go into our subconscious and bring that into our foreground, right? Let me just adjust this a little bit. So, and there's a lot of techniques, right? But before any techniques, before doing any rituals and all this shit, what we want to be able to do, and this might be difficult for most of you that are listening, now and later, is meditation, right? We want to do everything but meditate, right? We could try to call yoga meditation, but yoga is not meditation, right? It's a form of, but it's not meditating, right? Why do we want to meditate? Because we want to be able to go into these abstract realms without getting distracted. So when we go into the unconscious or the subconscious, what we don't want to do is get distracted by what we experience. What we want to do is be conscious and conscientious of what we're encountering, to grasp it and bring it into the conscious reality. You can't do that if you don't know how to meditate, if you don't have the discipline of meditation. And why meditation is important. Meditation is not a spiritual practice. It's a practice of self. It's not a religious practice. It's not a dogmatic practice. Meditation is a place. Meditation is a way and a state and a place in which I can be the observer without being the watcher, the analyzer, the seeker. So let's call it the ego, right? The ego doesn't know how to meditate. It doesn't know how to be the observer, because the ego is not the observer. The observer is who, and or what you truly are. That's the observer. The observer has no lineage. It has no bloodlines. It has no metaphysical or physical or extra dimensional, extraterrestrial, anything. The observer is the observer. It's the closest thing that we can get to the one singular aspect of ourselves, which is, or facet, which is the truth. The one obsolete, objective, singular truth, right? It does not have a name. It does not have a purpose. It just is, right? It is the spark of all things, and why you are you and I am me, and everyone is everyone else. You can access that aspect, that main aspect of yourself, through meditation. Nobody meditates. And I know this for a fact because, man, I'm not even gonna go there. But I know this because even when I suggested to the closest people in my circle to me, there's always some bullshit conversation as to why they can't, or they aren't, or they did it for a couple of days, but they'll go back to it. Why is that so difficult? You know what I mean? When sucking dick or doing a line of blow, or you know what I mean? Or, giving birth, or like being in society, making money, all those things are much easier than it is to just fucking meditate. Set your timer for 5 minutes first thing in the morning and go into fucking meditation, right? Why is that so difficult? Because we identify with our minds and all the projections and the ideas and everything. The mind is supposed to do what the mind does. Its job is to think, and that's it. But you are, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. You are not the mind. You are not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your emotions, right? Blah, blah, blah. So if you're not those things, why is it so difficult to just sit down for 5 fucking minutes? That's 60 seconds. If it makes it easier for your mind. 60 seconds will give you a meditation first thing in the morning that you can go into. Why? Well, you do this for about 6 months, and you'll start to see the difference between those 6 months and 12 months. What you can do when you meditate is you can focus on one thing, the thing, as your mind does what the mind does, which is the mind thinks. It thinks about your day. It thinks about that bitch at work that fucked you over. It just thinks. That's it. You can't articulate thought. You can't do anything with thought. You can't comprehend what your intuition is telling you, and so on and so forth, unless you can actually meditate. If you're doing magic, witchy, Wiccan, witchcraft, whatever the fuck, right? Whatever the fuck you're into, if you are not meditating on a daily basis, every day, you need to breathe every day, right? You believe that you need to eat every day, you need water every day, you need this practice. There will come a time where enough years of meditating as a practice has been under your belt buckle where you don't need to meditate every day because you almost consistently live in a state of meditation where you have to actually train yourself to be normal. That's it. So you do the adverse, you do the inverted part of meditation. So you become meditative, right? You go into a state of meditation just by waking up in the morning. You don't have to sit lotus. You don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. You just are in that state when you wake up from all your other dreams to this dream. You're the one that you have a monogamous relationship with. When you come here, you no longer have to meditate. You just are. And now your new discipline is to be here with those others, right? And the reality. Why do we meditate? To access the observer aspect of ourselves, which is the spark that gives us life. That's it. It has no dogma. It's not Hindu. It's not Buddhist. It's not Catholic. It's not Masonic. It's not Egyptian. It's not alchemical. It's just a way of tapping into something that we forgot. That's it. So, this is a way that you want, this is a discipline that you want to obtain and co-create or create and curate, for yourself. Why though? In essence, to everything that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. It's because we want to learn how to access the subconscious. All right? Remember that. We want to learn how to access the subconscious. Meditation, it's not that it's a direct path, it's a tool. It's an experience that we want to know how to have and know, because it gets weird. And your subconscious has also been programmed by your conscious bullshit that will distract you from that stuff. And this is why we get involved, or we succumb to spirituality, religion, brotherhoods, cults, societies, secret societies. We get wrapped up in them because we don't know how to navigate them. We don't know how to discern for ourselves. What about dancing? Is it the same place? Well, okay, we're gonna get to that. But with dancing leads you to a trance state. All right, I'm just gonna skip real quick and just go into trance states, right? Spicy. So, the idea is to get yourself into a liminal space, right? You can do this with meditative states, which is actually the easiest, because all you're doing is controlling your normal response to stimuli by staying grounded and focusing on one thing. My belly button as it comes in and out as I'm breathing, right? That's how I meditate. I focus on my belly button. Things like dancing. Well, you don't just want to dance. You want to dance to the point that you lose yourself and you go into a trance state, right? You can sit lotus and listen to someone's drum. If you get into the drumming, right, you'll feel your spirit move to the drumming, even though you're sitting here still. You can move to the drumming until you lose yourself to it. And with meditation, it's similar, but you're losing yourself to the objective, to the trajectory of the thing that you're focusing on. So dance isn't actually getting you to a state of meditation if you haven't already developed the discipline, practice, technique of meditation. Now, if you have that developed, and very well, and then you go into dance, trance states, it's a very different experience. Like really, really fucking different. So, I mean, sex is a way that you can get into those states, but you need to have a foundational state that is your number one. So you got your regular state where you're interacting with your wife, your husband, your kids, right? You go to work, blah, 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 right? And you have your meditative state, which you can bring into your relationship with your wife, your husband, your kids, and blah, 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 right? It's a way of anchoring yourself. It's a ground. That's it. That's all it is. So like boats that go, not like yachts and ships, but like boats that go out into the deep oceans, for tuna fishing or whatever the fuck, right? You need an anchor. You can't just stop the motor of the boat, the boat's motor, and stay there, stay stationary. You have to drop an anchor. Meditation is your anchor that you drop. Your boat keeps moving forward. It stops it, right? And then you can actually consciously choose what you want to interact or engage with. You can actually think for yourself. You cannot think for yourself if you're not in a state of meditation that allows you to discern what it is that you're experiencing or what's before you, what's in front of you, right? Meditation is the one thing. I've seen people go fruitarian, breatharian, right? Fasting all the time, doing ayahuasca for the 32nd fucking time and all this shit, right? What I don't ever fucking hear about is people having an intimate, disciplinary relationship with the aspect of themselves that actually is meditation. Meditation isn't just a practice, it's actually a state of being that is natural to us. So meditation is not something that you do. Meditation is a state that you reconnect with. Because before you had thoughts, before you had feelings and emotions, desires, wants, right? I like this, I don't like that. Before you had any of that shit, you had a state that you were in of observation, which is a state of meditation. You don't want or seek anything. You're not feeling anything other than a lot of information is coming at you. But we've been programmed to accept that what we think we are experiencing sounds like what someone else or something other has experienced or has experienced, and we accept that because the mind wants to be part of the tribe through oxytocin and other hormones, not the oxytocin hormones, right? But through other hormonal processes and social structural processes that are indigenous to our biological creature. We want to be part of the thing. We don't want to be excommunicated, right? We don't want to be exiled, right? We want to be part of the thing. We want to be accepted, right? So we lose ourselves when we are born and we come into this reality, right? Cool. So I hope that helps to answer Hand Fume Studio about the dancing. Dancing ain't shit unless you are meditating and got a disciplinary practice of meditating first, then go into your dance days. I promise you, don't take my word on it, but try it for yourself. Get into a practice of meditation. It'll take about 3 months of every day though. If you've been going 3 weeks into it and you slip by a day, start all over again. You start by day 1 again. You don't like that? That's personal. You'll get over yourself. If it's been 3 weeks, right, and you fuck up by a day, your kids, your job, you got to do it again. 5 fucking minutes, that's it. I'm telling you, within 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, your 5 minutes, when the alarm goes off on your phone, you're going to be like, man, before you even open your eyes, I can go another 5 minutes. That's how you're not tricking yourself. That's how you actually you're in a familiar place that you forgot about before you were born, right? What up, Jess? So I hope that answers the thing about the dance, mantras, all that shit. They're only as good as your ability to meditate. That's it. It doesn't matter how you fucking meditate as long as your eyes are fucking closed. You're not fucking talking. You're not fucking moving. And you're focusing on one thing. That's it. You're not trying to do anything. You are focused on one thing, whether it's your breath, right? The fact that I can get my feet, my toes, my ankles, my calves, my knees, my thighs, my butt, right? My crotch, my stomach, and everything to be still, but I can't get my fucking eyes to stop trying to fucking close or stay. When you don't have to think about any of that, you are still, now you're into meditation. And once you're into meditation, you ain't done. Now we gotta deal with this little fucker. Well, not the brain. This little fucker. Ooh, the mind. Right? Because it's not in here. It's everywhere. It's all of this, right? So, accessing the subconscious. We enter subconscious states when we are in meditation. That's it. After practicing meditation for repeated and extended periods of time. All right? You gotta meditate. That's it. You don't have to sit lotus, you know? You can be planking. It doesn't matter. You need to shut the fuck up. Your mind is talking. Mind your fucking business, which is the objective, which is the trajectory of observing one thing. And do your fucking work, which is all of it, right? Shut the fuck up. Mind your fucking business. Do your fucking work. States that allow you to be in a state of meditation. You're not doing spiritual work. You're not doing alchemical. You're not reaching higher states of being or whatever the fuck if you are not meditating. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck what kind of position you have in the OTO or whatever the fuck. Like, if you're not meditating every single day until you no longer have to do it because you're always in a meditative state and you have to now go do a little bit of the adverse of that so that you can be here and be human, you're not fucking doing the work. That's it. Like, and if you don't believe me, it makes you feel uncomfortable, just test it out for yourself. Find out for yourself, right? So, accessing the subconscious. When we are asleep, dreams can often be full of subconscious material, especially through symbolism, right? Particularly through symbolism. Mind-altering substances, whether it's food, drink, especially like alcohol, right, or kava, psychedelics, herbs, medications / psychiatric drugs. And these are things that allow us to access or bring us to our subconscious, right? When you are dreaming, from my experience, by the way, and again, do not take my word on it. I am not your guru or teacher. I am you, a different aspect of you, sharing something that you may not have given time to actually facilitate for yourself, right? So try it out. For me, dreams, about 98% of my dreams are me going into my unconscious collective of other timelines in which, not Raven, but the operator of the avatar called Raven, the soul, it exists in a multitude of timelines of realities, right? So when I dream, I wake up, when I go to sleep here, I wake up in the middle of another dream. I've never had a dream in which I come out of a vagina and I'm being born and I get slapped in the ass by a doctor to be in this. That never happened. I always wake up in the middle of a scene. That means that there are multitudes of infinite, maybe, realities in which my soul, which is the operator of this avatar, that soul exists in a multitude, if not infinite realities, timelines, all at once. And because it is the same operator, the same soul, Raven, something about his conscious reality becomes enmeshed, becomes part of another one, right? But there are also dreams that we can have, and these dreams are from the subconscious realm, and these dreams have messages for us. They have warnings, they have advice, they have yada, 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 right? So we access the subconscious through meditation. We access the subconscious through our sleep. We access it through substances, foods, alcohol, kava, obviously, right? Psychedelics, right? Disassociatives, like my favorite, ketamine. We can access those aspects of our subconscious through these mediums, right? So sleep practices. So not just sleep, right? This is like sleep with intention. You can do sleep practice stuff, right? You can do like hemisync, like Monroe Institute stuff, which is fucking awesome, right? Meditating. I don't like meditating right before bed because I wake up and I got a lot of energy. But usually my morning meditation sets me up for my nighttime slumber stuff. But you know, things like writing a dream journal, keeping a dream journal, a dream log, or a subconscious log, whatever you want to call it, a way of tracking this, what that tells your conscious mind is that you want to be aware of your subconscious stuff. So you start to have more vivid dreams. And you can access those too through like, you know, Blue Lotus, Amanita, Muscaria, Calea, Sakatachichi, the most bitterly disgusting but powerful dream acquisition herb that I've ever worked with. Calea, Zakatachichi. Anyways, fucking amazing stuff. Subconscious, right? You can also access your subconscious through mantras and intentions, right? If your intention is to do that and you apply it, practice, even if that practice doesn't work, you start to amplify the connection to your subconscious, and maybe you'll find another practice that will connect you even deeper, right? By the way, this has to be repetitive. So it's, you just have to repeat it because you're programming, right? You can't program it one time. It's not like a computer. That's the difference. That's one of the differences between a computer that's on your desktop and then this computer, is that this computer needs repetition, right? So hypnotic induction is another way that you can access the subconscious. Hypnotherapists do this. They want to access the subconscious because they want to see if we can extrapolate any data that isn't in the conscious reality that can actually help you and the therapist come to awarenesses of things that maybe are not in the light. They're in the moon, under the moon, the shadows, the dark, right? So mantras, intentions, these things have to be repetitive because you're programming your subconscious, and you're also program. Anytime you're programming your subconscious, you're programming your conscious. Your conscious mind has to be the one that intends to program the subconscious. So your conscious mind cannot just say it or do it or write it once and expect the subconscious. No, because the subconscious trusts the consciousness, but not enough where it could be one time, because your subconscious is much larger than your conscious framework, right? This big is your sub. This is your conscious. So this one has to put a little extra work to convince this other motherfucker of what's going on and what we intend to do, right? Because sometimes this one encounters stuff that it misinterprets, and this one doesn't want to accept it, and so on. But yeah, hypnotic states. Also, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Very connected to hypnotic trance states, right? Or induction. There are ways that you can speak and or listen. There are things that you can listen to, hear, experience, like sound and all that. Yeah, Kaya, it's the iceberg, right? The top of the iceberg is your conscious mind. That wasn't some Illuminati shit, by the way. I was just... Here, iceberg. So no one thinks I'm Illuminati, because I'm not. I'm Puerto Rican, they'll never take me. But, and then the bottom of the iceberg, which is under the water, that's your subconscious. That's your reality. That's what moves the thing that you see on the top of the surface, right? So, these and more induce hypnotic in-between states, and they create the path for you to experience and be in what's called liminality, right? So liminality is the place of the Neosha, and I've talked about this before, about the Neosha. So psychologists, magicians, gurus, hackers, shamans, therapists, wizards, hypnotherapists, alchemists, you name it. When they're truly doing the thing that they are doing, like they truly do it, they operate from a liminal space. And that liminal space is a space that we can interface with both the conscious and the subconscious, right? So you don't lose yourself when you go into the subconscious. Like you took a lot of mushrooms, you smoked a bunch of DMT, you can't bring back any information. You kind of missed it. Because what was the point of going there, right? Fucking up your lungs, your stomach for the day, right? All this shit, and not bring back anything. Like you want to smuggle things from these other dimensions, but in particular, the dimensions not of mushrooms, not of DMT, not of ayahuasca, not of ketamine, but your own. This one's the more important one. This is the first one that you should be concerned about. This subconscious of yours should be the thing that you're interested in. But we get distracted by it. I want to go to Alpha Centauri. It's like, no, bitch, you want to go back in here real quick. You want to go to your own fucking files and find out what the fuck. Because I found that, man, there's a lot of stories out there. And the more that I interact with these stories, like, it's fun. But, it's a distraction. You are the sun. And you are the moon. You are the sun with the moon, right? And you want to understand what's going on Terra, right? On planet Earth, between the relationships with the sun and the moon, right? You want to find out what's going on here, not through someone else's gnosis, not through someone else's or some other things, belief systems, practices, blah, blah, blah. You want to know yourself, because who the fuck wants to know anything, right? Who are you, right? This is the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. Who are you? That bitch never answered it. No one can answer it. And the moment that you can answer it, you don't try to answer it anymore. You just remember it and you go, okay. And then you're at service, right? So who the fuck are you? Who are you? You're not your name, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. You're not your name. You're not your avatar. You're not your body. You're not your gender. You're not your ethnicity. You're not your religion. You're not your creed. You're not your culture. You're not your society. You're not left or right. You're not blue or red, right? You're not up, above, below, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not any of those things. So then who the fuck are you? Who are you? Who are you can only be answered by you interacting with your subconscious, not other programs outside of yourself. Somebody else's, 32, 33 degrees of stairs, right? And going into this other fucking thing with the Sumerian, blah, 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 and the Babylonian. Those things are cool, and I'm down to try those things out if it's offered, but only after I've finalized my connection with my subconscious. Because then I won't have lies or distractions brought to me. You want to be able to be clear so that you can make a clear and concise decision. That's it. That's it. Not influenced by anyone or any other thing. So everything I'm saying, you can apply it for yourself and see for yourself. Nothing that I'm saying is a dogma. I don't want to run a church. And even if I do one day, it's going to be rough because I don't want the responsibility of coaxing everybody into some bullshit. So, liminality is a place of the Neosha, psychologists, magicians, gurus, hackers, shamans, therapists, wizards, hypnotherapists, and so on, right? In our liminal space, we can interface with both the conscious and the subconscious, or our conscious and our subconscious. The unconscious becomes our subconscious, right? From un to sub. Because un means I'm unaware. Sub means it's a part of me that I am aware that exists, and I wanna articulate. I wanna be part of. I wanna build a relationship with the thing that is called the subconscious. I wanna build a relationship with it. So the unconscious becomes our subconscious layer of reality where we can extract data sets and also program our subconscious, right? That makes sense? We want to not only acknowledge and have access to our subconscious, we want to bring light to our unconscious, thus creating it to be our subconscious. So now that we have access to our subconscious, we want to build a relationship with it, right? If we cannot stay conscious while interfacing with the subconscious, we will continue to be unconscious, right? Staying liminal assists us greatly, and the practice of meditation allows us to extract abstractions of the subconscious where we don't have to figure anything out. Observer, right? When I look into your eyes, I still say I, right? They say that the eyes are the windows to, not the spirit, not the person. The eyes are the windows to the soul. And some say, and I believe, that the pineal gland, the third eye, is the seat of the soul, right? So the soul sits here, or is projected, right, through bioelectrical, biochemical, biomagnetic frequencies, right? The soul seats itself here in our pineal, and it utilizes the windows of our eyes to experience itself as the perceived other, right? So you're Jessica, right? And I'm John, right? That's where this happens. Once it experiences the perceived other, it experiences itself as other, right? So when we are interacting with these liminal states, we're interfacing with chaos, right? So the space of liminality is here's left, which is probably your right, and then my right, which is probably your left. This. Because nothing is in our reality, nothing is ever just like one thing. There's actually like a space at the atomic level, right? So Liminal is the in-between. You keep 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? So you don't adhere to left path or right path. You walk betwixt the two, right? So you then create the 3, right? Because it's actually the 3 that creates left and right. I wasn't giving you guys a middle finger. But it's always the one that's walking the middle path. So if you choose ethnicity, you choose a side, you lose yourself from the middle path. And the middle path is the most difficult path of all paths. You think Buddhism or shamanism, like those aren't fucking hard. Middle path is hard. Middle path, what does that look like? When you choose a side, you're no longer walking the middle path. Chaos magic is a very new example of the possibilities of what the middle path is. Middle path is self-individuation. So you understand other paths and you're compassionate and understanding and patient of other paths, but you are not those paths. But if those paths, if your life required you to perform a ritual for one of those paths, you can do so, because even though you're not of it, you know of it and you can perform it, but not as a servitor to those belief systems. You could do whatever you need to do for yourself. That's it, right? So the middle path is what allows you to keep 1 foot in and 1 foot out at all times. Middle path is the hardest path because you're not subjecting yourself to the entire belief circuit or programming of one or the other, You don't choose a side. You use it to your benefit. If being on one side for a moment is beneficial, like staying out of what up, what's good, homie? If staying in the middle path, like choosing for a second, if like the fucking police came to my door, right, and they were like, we need to see blah, 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 I'd be like, well, I got my wife, my cats in the house, so yeah, no, I will play into the game that they're looking for me to be into. I am not that, right? I am not a fascist, but I am not a Democrat, but I am not a socialist, but I am not a capitalist. What the fuck am I? I'm whatever I need to be at the moment that keeps me and most importantly, my family, my cats, my home, and then myself, because I'm always good, right? It's just they need a little kick from me because I'm creating all of it, right? So I'm going to be the thing that I need to be that serves them and then me first. That's it. If this was World War II, bro, and I was like, if I needed to be Jewish for a second, I'm fucking Jewish, bro. I'd be like, yo, here's my, I do my jewelry, I kill my chickens for my sins and stuff like that. My name is Ruizenstein, And then if they're like, nah, bro, we're looking for Jews to kill them. I'm like, hey, my last name is Ruiz. And I'm not about that life, But for the sake of storytelling, as far as the reality goes, I'm going to be whatever is required of me to be that takes care of what I want to take care of. But outside of that, and if shit hits a fan, yeah, man, I'm going to go God mode. God mode is I'm in this middle, right? So the center of left and right. I walk the middle path, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. A lot of people don't like that. They need you. They almost need you, but they want you to be, and it makes them feel good if you are part. You have chosen a left or right. NPCs love that shit. Even if you're their enemy, they feel good to find out that you're the enemy. If you're a friend, they feel good to find that out. When you are liminal, NPCs don't like that shit. The state of this reality does not like when you are in the middle. Because you're a virus. That's it. You're a virus. And that's what the goal is to be. We want to become fucking viruses, man. The most fascinating organism on this fucking planet. The most fascinating organism on this planet is the virus. Okay? Not amoebas, not protozoas, and not even humans. Viruses are the most amazing creatures in this planet because, man, you can have a virus that will can eventually destroy your entire fucking body or a specific system, which then later destroys the rest of your systems and your body and being in existence. A virus, it copies your DNA and RNA. It's middle guy choosing, this is what I'm going to be. So your immune system, even if you've been taking all the probiotics and all this shit, right? Drinking kefir and all this stuff, right? Vitamin C, blah, blah, blah. The right virus shows up into your system, your immune system doesn't know it's there. And if it does notice one of them, like an anomaly, if that little virus that gets caught for a second survives the attack, that virus acts like it died. So that the immune system, right, the cells, T cells, white blood cells, right, so on, it leaves it alone like it thinks it died. That virus doesn't try to keep being itself because it'll keep being detected until it is destroyed. So it pretends to be dead. All I need is, I'm that virus, you're a white blood cell, a T cell, you touch me, I go, ah, I died. As soon as you walk away, I go, I just read all your fucking DNA and RNA information. And then I go, cool, I am white blood cell, I am T cell, even though I'm a virus. And I just go in the dark, bro. I walk by the soldiers of your human body, right, your immune system. Nobody fucking knows, bro. They're like, yeah, you look legit, bro. Keep going, keep going. The whole time, I'm just pooping multiplications of myself. That's what we want to do. We want to learn from the virus, the thing that is feared the most in one of the most thing feared in humanity, other than death, is viruses. Think about it. Parasites may be number 3 or 4, I don't know, but viruses, whether you believe it or not, go ask yourself. Viruses are feared because viruses, they blur the line between anything other than ourselves is sentient, and we're the only ones that are conscious and intelligent, right? We are conscious, and so are viruses. We want to learn from that viral state of existence so that we can operate in this reality and play the game without succumbing to or becoming the game. It's probably the same fruit fly from last week. My house is clean, by the way. They like the vinegar ginger drinks. Anyways, so let's see. We can't stay conscious while interfacing with the subconscious. If we are not conscious, we are unconscious, right? Cool. So what we want to do is develop some sort of practice mechanism, develop a software program where we can maintain sustained awareness when we go into our unconscious realms, to make the unconscious realms our subconscious realms, and grab some of the stuff from our subconscious and make them conscious. Bring them to the conscious reality, right? Cool. When we're doing that, we don't want to figure out what's in the subconscious while we're there. We alert its immune system, we alert our own, we get crazy, like we say crazy, dumb shit. We just want to quietly go in there as an observer. So we don't have any intention other than taking observer snapshots, like a true journalist, right? We're not looking for who's wrong or right. We just want to report the news to ourselves. So we take observable snapshots of everything we experience, that we see, that we come across, that we encounter in our subconscious, and then take those photos quietly and bring them back to the conscious reality. And you want to be good at meditating because you want to look at that information as objectively as possible. Because it might mean something more than what you want to project onto it. Yeah, observe, yeah. But you can't just observe, right? Because you can't just be here fully, right? Little puppies and kittens, they need you to also be part of the game. So, now we go into, what does this mean? What are the implications of, I hope you guys can hear me clearly. So what are the implications of me becoming, or so I'm not becoming conscious, right? I am conscious. I'm not becoming the observer. I am the observer. I've just been misled and have misconstrued the information, and I think that I'm the head honcho here, which I'm not, right? I'm a composition of above, below, within, without, left, right, all this shit. And what I want to do is, thanks, homie. What I want to do is not be aside. Like I don't want to be part of a team, right? I want everybody to play. I want everybody to do their thing. Meditation is to be able to focus on one thing and not have an opinion about it until you create the time and space, like a laboratory space. Like let's call it a thinking spot, right? This is the space and time which I give so that I can think. So I can take data and I can observe the data and articulate it. Because we need to articulate abstractions. That's how you make art, right? But you don't need to know all the details. You just need to perform it, like do it, put it out there, right? So I know I've talked about this for years now, especially when I was more doing the lives back when I was in Taos, right? So imagine this, right? You as author, narrator, protagonist, antagonist, supporting stage, and most importantly, the audience or the reader of the story, right? So you got a book or you're watching a movie, right? Okay. You are the author, the narrator, the protagonist, the antagonist, the supporting actors, the stage itself in which all performances are had, and most importantly, you are the audience / reader of the story. That's you as a totality. You are not only the backdrop, you are the inanimate objects, couch, cup, right? Like that's you too. Like that's actually who you are. You are literally everything, every fucking thing that you can imagine, that you can be aware of, right? Those atoms that they told us about, right? And the nuclear fission and the qubits and in quantum physics and what they've been doing at the fucking CERN, you know, CERN with it's all you. All of it. But to keep it in, you know, very simple human terms, you are the author of the story. You are the narrator, the one that reads the story out loud. You're the narrator within the protagonist or character's minds, thoughts, right? You're the antagonist as well. Not only are you the one, Shakespeare said, life is a stage, everything you perceive is rendered by you. Yes, and I was just talking to my homie Sky before I got on the live, and I was telling him, Sir Francis Bacon, famous alchemist, he was Shakespeare. It's just alchemy doesn't talk about this kind of shit that we're talking about. So no one was taking him seriously as an alchemist anyway, right? The last thing he needs to fucking do is make it even fucking weirder for everyone by talking about human experience and love, right? Because you don't hear about that in alchemy. So Shakespeare was a byproduct creation of Francis Bacon, an alchemist who made the stone, right? He realized, I can't get through these bitches unless I start to not just storytell, but create a character. So everybody's like, ooh, Shakespeare, oh la la, right? But he said some magnificent shit. And not only did Shakespeare do that, but he also created, like, I don't know, what was it, like 800 words to the human syntax, right? Vocabulary words for human society. Yeah. So you are the author of this story, the narrator of the story. You are the protagonist of this story, the antagonist of the story. You are the supporting actors in this story. You are the stage and all of the props everywhere. Whether the prop is in the scene or not, or for a second, or for the whole movie, it doesn't matter. You are the prop, and most importantly, you are the audience of the story. You're the reader. You're the perceiver of this. You're the intaker of this, right? You become aware that you are co-creating, but mostly creating your, not all or everyone's, story, relative experience, right? You're the one. You're fucking Neo. That's it. You don't even know if I actually exist. You created me to do this shit so that you can keep having your kids and making all the fucking money that you're making and your successes or all your downfalls, right? Whatever the fuck it is, you created me so that I can play and exist, so I can exist and play the role of something that will eventually get on this framework and share something with you that you couldn't do in the meantime because you were busy with the story that you crafted for yourself and you've been telling for yourself. Meanwhile, I've been over here having a difficult time being human, but I've been doing all the other weird fucking abstract shit so that I can communicate this to you because, again, you've been busy doing you. And I'm here as a reminder or as an object of remembrance for your part of the storytelling so you have some sort of substance. That's it. I'm not important, but I'm not insignificant. We're tuned in. We're doing this shit together, right? Cool. So it's in our inherent nature to remember this. That's it. You're experiencing me, us, right now, right? It's in our inherent nature to remember this shit because you had to forget the stuff. Actually, it wasn't even stuff, right? Like all the teachings and the disciplines and the arts and none of that stuff we needed to know because we already were, right? But then we did something weird. We wanted to forget to see how this was us. And then we wanted to get away from us, go down here. We're going back here. But we want to, how many ways can we zigzag and swirl and, till we get back here? Because we always end up here. I started here. I will always end up here. How far can I blow myself away into a billion smithereens through time and space before I get here? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What's it like to be infinite? To have infinite timelines, infinite expressions, infinite possibilities. There are infinite ways for me to get back to the place where I originally generated was. Infinite. So that means that I'm a slice of you and you're a slice of me. We are a fragment, a facet, one gemstone. This is the gemstone up here, right? When you hit light, it reflects off the facets, right? But there's infinite facets. How do we get to those facets? It doesn't fucking matter, right? I have been doing what I'm doing. I've been sharing what I've been sharing because I'm not hearing the facet that has been shown to me over and over and over again. So through continuous showing of this facet, I want to communicate it because I feel like my life has no other purpose. Sure, I'm married and I might have kids. And if I have kids, it's a different story, but I can't get rid of this sensation of I just need to share the thing, not because you need it, not because you want it or you saw it. Because just like I said in Taos, this is really a conversation between me, myself, and I. And if you're tuning in, then you are aspects of me, myself, and or I. So it's intended for whoever the fuck is listening. I use this as a timeline node, right? Timestamp, like live journal kind of thing. No pun intended on live journal and dead journal. But anyways, so it's in our inherent nature to come to these awarenesses, remembrances, these conclusions. And so this is what's called the Neosha. All right, the Neosha. Okay, so the Neosha is. Where does it come from? Why is it now that? Why is the Neosha now? Why not before? Was it something else before? So, the shaman, the alchemist, right? The guru, the magician, the wizard, the sorcerer, right? And so much more. These beings came here during their first time being here. Like the first time that a shaman was here. The first time that a magician was here, right? The first time that a cosmic architect was here, right? And so on. Why isn't one of those things just the thing throughout all time and space, right? The guru, the sensei, why isn't that just the thing now? Because anything that comes here originally that is blessed with innocence and power and purity must be corrupted eventually. You cannot stay here too long without becoming corrupted. So a new version of you or that energy must come after you, because you will be corrupted, right? So now the guru, the sensei, the shaman, the magician, the wizard, the sorcerer, all these things, right? It's the Neosha. The Neosha is a composition of all those things, including hacker, the pirate, hacker, right? You can do whatever you want if you are any of those things, right? There are ethical hackers, right? And then there's just hackers, right? There have been ethical pirates, right? Like you can consider Robin Hood an ethical pirate, stole from the rich to give to the poor, right? He had some sort of theme, some sort of thesis, right? Way of being, his way, right? Like the way of the sword, right? The way of the arrow, right? The 5 rings, like a way, right? Virtue. So the Neosha is a composition of all these things. It takes a little bit of everything. Even with chaos magic, I don't consider myself a chaos magician. I consider myself as the new version of all these other things called the Neosha, and I am not the only one. That's something that you should understand too, because like back in the day, the shamans in a small tribe, the shaman was chosen because you had some sort of psychological break, right? Psycho-spiritual break, psychosis, right? Or spiritual awakening or whatever the fuck, right? But you had to adhere to the storylines of that village, right? Terrence McKenna says this in one of his lectures about the shaman, where they asked the shaman, what do the people believe in? And the shaman said, well, the people believe in Zebub. Right? So what does the shaman do? The shaman perpetuates Zebub for the people. That makes the shaman relevant and the people something to believe in, which again makes the shaman relevant. The Neosha, though, the Neosha does not need a people to be relevant. The Neosha has no people. The Neosha has itself and other Neoshas that will remember the thing. And I think that a lot of us that fall into the Neosha, we were shamans. We were magicians. We were rulers. We were presidents. We were chiefs. We were gurus. We were senseis. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you get the fucking gist, right? We were these things in the past, and they did not work after a while anymore, any longer, because the system is just so intoxicating. I don't give a fuck how big your liver is and how you could be an Icelandic fucking 7-foot tall giant. Eventually, you will get drunk. I don't give a fuck. You will get drunk. And then if you build a tolerance, you become an alcoholic. Which, I'm not getting drunk, but now I am submissive to the alcohol, right? That's what happens when you're here long enough. And right now, in our day and age, we're in the age of the Neosha. We don't have to be drunk anymore. We're not the bad guys yet. One day, the Neosha will be the bad guy again, or it will be the manipulator. But not right now. This is just happening. Just happening, right? The Neosha is the hacker, right? But the Neosha doesn't really choose a side in the sense of the Neosha is good or evil. The Neosha participant chooses that for his or herself. That's it, right? I'm not a good guy or a bad guy. I'm merely watching everything that's going on, and I'm watching the scales where they're tipping, and I just feel it it's in my nature to bring some sort of chaotic imbalance to where it's been, right? To shift it, and then maybe be part of the movement that brings balance again. But that's the game. That's the name of the game. Is it forever? Is it always this, topsy-turvy? I don't believe so. I think one day we will. But I think we need to be here for just long enough and to overcome the things that try to outweigh the other thing. It's not disagreeing with one side or the other. It's seeing all sides and trying to understand all sides and bring cohesive understanding and teachings to the other, examples to the other. No judgment, all right? I know you've done what's considered evil, and the only reason you keep doing evil is because you are afraid to face that, and you have no home. But I want you to know you have a home with me. I know what you've done. I know who you've done it to. I know how many times you've done it. I don't care. I like you. I love you. I respect you. I'm not trying to turn you into a good person or a good being. I'm not trying to stop you from being bad either. I just want you to feel seen. Because I see you. Not because I think that if I do that, I can coerce you to something else. I see you. I feel you. I know why you did that. I know exactly why. I can completely understand why you killed, why you raped, why you murdered, why you tortured, why you starved someone or something, why you burned, why you destroyed. I actually understand it. I'm not trying to disagree and trying to change your mind. I just see it. Left and right, on both sides, there's just a multitude of expressions that have never been seen. They've never felt seen. They've never felt heard. So like a child, like a baby, they cry. Whether their cries are protesting because of oppression. Their cries are, we must be good and be vegetarians and be vegans, right? Love and light, right? I must murder and rape and kill and, for my pleasures, because pleasures are, dogmatically a sin, blah, blah, blah. The Neosha understands those things. It knows those things. It knows it because the Neosha hasn't been here just once. It has been here as the shaman, the magician, the guru, all these things. It's a composition of all those wisdoms to create a new system, whether it's with magic, it's with computers, it's with spirituality, it is with materialism too. Science has to be involved in it, whether it's physics or quantum physics, which moves away a little more from the material. Quantum goes, it's like the transition for science from the material to something, a little more abstract, spiritual, right? The Neosha is this new movement of this thing, and not a movement like you can go to a class, you can buy a fucking sticker or whatever. It's something that's happening within us. And I personally try to let go of that term, that word, because I was like, I don't understand, because I didn't have reference points. I shut the fuck up since Taos to now. That's been almost like 2.5 years. And the reason for that, part of it is this Neosha thing that I have been struggling with, because my mind was like, well, I can't be that. It's like, it's not about you. It's about something that's happening. It's a movement. It's a thing. We're not just choosing you, others, but you have to articulate this or you're never going to understand it. It's like, okay, cool. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're a skinny bitch or a fat bitch, if you're gay, it doesn't matter. The Neosha comes through, but you won't know. Even when someone claims Neosha, you'll know if it's truly there or not based on, are they walking middle? If they're not walking middle, they're choosing left or right. They're just doing the thing that eventually the Neosha will be led into, just like shaman, right? Fucking shaman in a hut in Peru. You hear the fucking Shopify bling, the cha-ching. That's not shaman anymore. That's not shamanism. I'm judging it in the sense of, I know. I'm a good judge of character. That character, I ain't fucking with that no more, right? I ain't fucking with the magician no more. I ain't fucking with the guru anymore. I ain't fucking with the alchemist no more. I ain't fucking with the preacher no more. I ain't fucking with the humanitarian, right? The animal rights activist, right? The poly or the monogamy. Like, I'm not fucking with them anymore. I'm making my own decisions, so I alienate myself, not because I choose to. It's just what happens. And if we are all going to go down this kind of route, you should know that then you're not alienated in the sense of you're alone. We're going to alienate ourselves. We'll be alienated together, and we'll just do it together. And this is why I want to, I'm closing for, and not, you can't ever really close the conversation on the subconscious, right? But this is like the point that I want to get to kind of close down the conversation of the subconscious so we can get into the conversation that leads to practice, because you got to have understanding. So how about this? All right. I got an exercise. I'm not going to judge anybody who doesn't do it, right? Who says they're going to do it and doesn't do it. But what's today? Today is October 16th, Thursday, right? So I'll be back next Wednesday, right? So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 6 days, right? I am asking whoever wants to, okay? You don't have to say shit here so you don't embarrass yourself if you don't do it. But starting tomorrow morning, so that's Friday, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. You wake up, right? You set your fucking phone. You take the timer, right? And you go to you can set alarms, right? Or you can set a timer. That's it. And you set a timer for 5 fucking minutes, right? Timer, 5 minutes. You go like this. You wake up, you take your piss. Don't brush your teeth. Don't have coffee. Don't do any of this shit. You quietly wake up, take your morning piss real quick, and you go right back to the edge of your bed and you set your timer for 5 fucking minutes. 5 fucking minutes. You understand what 5 minutes is? 5 minutes. That's 560 seconds, right? Do that for the next 6 days. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday at 5 p.m. That's it. That's all I got. Let's talk about it. Try it out for yourself. That's it. Don't miss a fucking day. It's 5 minutes, man. Do you know how many other minutes you give to bullshit? Do you know how many minutes you give every fucking day to retarded, dumbass fucking shit? 5 minutes when you first wake up. Do not make coffee. Do not talk to your husband or wife. Do not go feed your kids. You quietly wake up. Take your first morning piss. If you gotta shit while you do it, do it. Even better. Do not do anything else after you leave the bathroom. Go right back to the edge of your bed and just sit there and set a timer for 5 fucking minutes. 5 fucking minutes. I am not asking you to walk 33, 32, 36 stairs. I'm not asking you to give blood or anything like that or give me your firstborn. I'm asking you for 5 fucking minutes. 560 seconds. 5 of them. First thing in the morning. Try it out. Shut the fuck up. Close your eyes. My advice, what I do, focus on your belly button as you breathe in and out. That's it. Don't try to be silent. Don't try to focus. Don't try to silence your mind. Don't try to meditate. You're going to fucking get distracted by that shit. Focus on your belly button going in and out. You'll feel your feet twitching. You'll think about your schedule, what you could do. You'll even have some bright fucking ideas that you've never had before you did the 5 minutes. Don't. Focus on your belly button going in and out for 5 fucking minutes. Your alarm will go off. When you're done, the alarm goes off. Go about your fucking day. That's it. 6 days, guys. Let's do it. That's my ice challenge. I'm gonna go. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. For sure. We'll do 5 p.m. It seems to be we get a lot more interactions at 5 p.m. And I just want you to know that behind every live, I just gotta compile a bunch of fucking work and turn it into something more. Yeah, TJ, and turn it into something that I can communicate in a short frame. I'm trying my best to do these in a short frame. The goal is my Instagram lives will lead to a video that I've already recorded that's much longer on YouTube. And then the later goal after that is to do a Patreon where it's a paid subscription. Gotta pay bills. I haven't figured out how to go, and money just appears. But until then, where we actually do the experiments ourselves, like together. We can work off each other and give each other advice, and we want to see results. But anyways, I love you, guy. I love you, guy. I love you, guys. I was reading at the same time. I'll see you guys next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Do 5 minutes for the next 6 days, first thing in the morning. That's it. I can't judge you guys, but I would love to see a shit ton of people, a fuck ton of people on the comments next Wednesday going, I fucking did it. 6 days, 5 minutes. It wasn't hard. Or it was hard, but I did it. Because we spend so much time giving our time and energy, our power to so much bullshit when we could just do 5 fucking minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. 5 minutes. 6 days. See you guys on Wednesday. Love you. Ciao.